Yo guys, welcome to a brand new video. Edge of Fate has been out for 2 weeks now. Well, currently it is week 2, I should say. Lots of good changes. Lots of good things have come. Lots of strong builds. Today I'm showing you Starfire build. This build is going to absolutely cook your asshole. We're talking literal nuclear grenades. You'll see here in a little bit when we get to the gameplay, but let's get to this build. I'm telling you, this shit is going to fry your asshole. Alright guys, let's get into this. So this is a pure solar build that can't be on prismatic because there's no fusion nade and you have to use fusion nade for this to work. We're going to be using Song of Flame. If you want to use the Well of Radiance, you certainly can. If I'm not mistaken, Song of Flame did get a DR nerf to 70%. We're using Phoenix Dive with a Burst Glide, Incinerator Snap. If you want to use Celestial, you can, but it's just wrong. And then Incinerator Snap is definitely the play. But we're using Fusion Nade. You have to use Fusion Nade for this exotic to work. So throw this shit on. This shit is busted. On our aspects, we're using Touch of Flame. This is going to make our Fusion Nades explode twice. And then we're using Helion. If you really want to use one of the other two, you can. But again, you're just wrong. Helion, having that extra damage, especially when the Phoenix Dive spam, you'll have this up permanently. And it's going to scorch, proc a lot of things for us. It's just nice to have. And for our fragments, we're using Ember of Ashes. This is going to make our Fusion Nade and our Helion and our Super just do more Scorch stacks, and our weapons. We're using Ember of Char, I'll admit, mainly for the plus 10 grenade, but also your solar ignitions will spread Scorch, which is also nice. That can affect some of our mods, and we'll get to that later. We're using Ember of Empyrean. This is mainly going to extend our Radiant. That way we have it up permanently, because if you didn't know, the Starfire got a buff where Radiant damage now procs the effect of getting your nade back. So we definitely want to have it up permanently, and there's an easy way to get Radiant in the current season, I guess. We're also using Ember of Searing. Whenever we defeat Scorched targets, we'll get melee energy. This is how we get our melee back quickly. But we also create a Fire Sprite, and Fire Sprites give us grenade energy as well, so we're making a ton of that, and we get some class energy. For the armor mods, this is what I am running. We got Double Ashes. My super stat is really low, so I kind of have to do that. We got a solar weapon surge. I don't have the weapon set that I want, so we're kind of doing that to help that out a little bit. We got a recuperation, which can help out with the health. We're gonna get a chunky little bit of health back whenever we pick up an orb, which we're making a lot of orbs. We're using firepower, as you can see. If you don't know how Starfire works, basically you get 2 fusion nades, and when we're Radiant, since they got the change, we'll be getting grenade energy on kills and whenever we're just hitting them while we have Radiant. Or if you're an Empowering Rift, that also works, or in a Well, it also procs as well. But the Radiant is new, and this is one of the main reasons this is so strong now, because we get Radiant from Fever and Chill, which one of our weapons, Sunshot, is going to proc this. And then with Ember of Empyrean, we keep Radiant permanently. So the main stat you're going for this build is definitely going to be grenade. I have a 58.4% increase on my grenade. It's not quite at that 65%, which is maxed out at 200. We're 10 away, really close. Not quite there. So the main stats I'd go for is weapon, class, and grenade, and super. So you want grenade at 200, class at 100, your weapon and your super as high as you can get them. And then melee doesn't really matter. It's not really a melee build. And then health doesn't really matter either, because it's just orb health. So it's like, if you want, you can, I guess. For the weapons, I'm running NADES. Shield Clip is nice. It also procs Cauterized Darkness. So if you're hitting like champs or something, you'll basically like one need champs or orange bars, that kind of thing. Doesn't work on bosses. Kind of cringe. Sunshot, can't go wrong. Procs Radiant for us, and it's just a good weapon. I'm using Fall of Guillotine with Eager Edge, not doing anything other than using it to fly around the arenas and all that stuff. So yeah, you could use whatever heavy you want. Quick recap of the artifact. The first 2 columns don't matter. Third column, Fever and Chill. Rapid Precision hits with a solar weapon will give us Radiance, very important. I'm also using Refresh Threads, which whenever we pick up a Fire Sprite will give us a energy to our least charged ability. So that's nice. Cauterized Darkness, so our NADES can debuff champs and that kind of thing. Remember, it does not work on bosses. I'm also using Elemental Daze. This is for champs. Elemental Coalescence. We go with some super energy whenever we pick up Fire Sprite, so that's cool. Shield Crush, this is the second most important one. Whenever we have Radiant, we'll get increased grenade damage, and they'll recharge faster. Very important to get Shield Crush and Fever and Shield. Those two are absolutely god tier. And then I think whenever I do get my last one, I was thinking either Radiant Shrapnel or Elemental Overdrive. I'll probably end up going for Elemental Overdrive for this build specifically. Alright guys, that is the video. Just to recap, you're going for 200 grenade. 200 is what you want. 100 class, you don't need anything more. Anything more is just overshield, so I guess it's nice but not needed. You're going for as much weapon as you can. If you can get to 200, sure, but make sure you're at 200 grenade. Anything more than 100 is just extra damage, so that's nice. So if you can, go for it. And then super. I might even say go for more super than for weapons, but you do whatever you want. Melee and health, I wouldn't worry too much about. It's not that kind of build. So go for it, kiddies. This is the build. Let's get into the gameplay.